99.5 WKDQ, today's best country. It's Eric Cornish, and we are getting ready later on this month. It is the Sandy Lee Watkins Songwriters Festival. Back again, always my favorite time of year when all these great songwriters come to Henderson. We've got one of the best on the line right now, my friend Tony Arata. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Eric. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing so good. I mean, got to see you play last year at the festival. Even got you to sign my yearbook, which is fun.
Well,
How many yearbooks have you signed?
I'm glad, but what it did is it dated me, is what it did. But anyway, we're still here. We're still here, and that's all that matters. Looking forward to being back up there, and thanks to KDQ and all the good folks there in Henderson, and can't wait to get back up there for the Sandy Lee Festival.
Well, for those who don't know, Tony Arata, of course, the songwriter of many songs, but the one in particular that is special in my heart, of course, is "The Dance" by Garth Brooks, and probably your biggest tune. And that was my quote in my yearbook, and I quoted you, and so that was fun to see you up there and singing the song the way that it was written.
Well, I appreciate that so very much, and I've been overwhelmed over the years at the kind letters I've received and from folks all over the place. I'm very grateful that the song meant something to some folks, and that's ultimately why you do it in the first place. Is you hope that whatever you come up with will stand some test of time and mean something to folks after you're gone. So I'm very grateful for the song, and it's so odd. I've come to realize how grateful I was and how lucky I was to have had Garth put it on hold originally, and then he didn't have a deal at the time. So I didn't realize it, but the best thing that ever happened to it was it did get turned down for a long time until Garth got signed to Capitol, and that he really made it his song. He made it something special.
Yeah, and to be the song that he's still, closing shows with all these years, I mean, that really means something.
Well, it certainly does, and none of it escapes me. And I get texts and things like that. I have a lot of friends around the country. Matter of fact, I'm out in New Mexico right now playing, and invariably you meet good folks, and every once in a while I'll get a text there at one of his shows. Either he's going to be in New Orleans, or he was in Houston, or he's been making the rounds, and it's just good to have him back out there. And like I said, I get a chance to speak to these folks who have been at his shows and that I've met over the years as a result of that song and others that he did. So it's been a very, very fortunate and very blessed journey in my case.
We've got Tony Arata, a great songwriter, on the line with us. He's going to be at the Sandy Lee Watkins Songwriters Festival. Now, you were here last year, so tell me, what do you like about this festival, and why should somebody come and see it?
Well, one, I think all the settings are so intimate. I mean, you're literally sitting there with the writers. You're going to hear the stories behind the songs, and you're going to get an insight that you wouldn't necessarily get in a big concert venue. These are all great small venues, and that really concentrate on presenting the songs as they were created. They may be big hits, but they had to start somewhere, and this is pretty much where they started. The other thing, obviously, is the people. I've never been treated nicer than I am up there in Kentucky. It's always a pleasure to be up there, and it's like I went there first time as a stranger, kind of, and now I feel like it's my extended family up there in Kentucky. So it's the people are just great, and it's always a good time. And like I said, I'm a songwriter, but I love to go out and hear other songwriters myself, because invariably you get the background story on songs, and just getting to hear them, as I said, as they started.
Yeah,
it's a real treat.
And sometimes
it's also for a great cause, and I love Kerry Kurt and all he's done, and work on his behalf with the Sandy Lee Festival, and it's just a good time and good people. You can't beat that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know the last couple of years, you hear songs that don't even sound like the finished product. And I guess The Dance is kind of that way too. Didn't start out the way that it ended up, I guess.
No, it sure didn't. No, I mean, it was just an acoustic guitar vocal that I handed in. And matter of fact, the very first time I heard the song, when Garth played it for me, I didn't think I'd made the record, because I didn't recognize the song. But that's the difference between, you create a song, and then if you have a really fine artist and a really great producer, they turn it into a different. They make it their own, and they don't just copy whatever they received as a demo. They maybe embellish it or change an arrangement, but they make it something that they're going to be the ones up there singing it every night.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to make it to where it resonates with them as well. But yeah, you never know. I've been very fortunate over the years, particularly because most of my songs have been just guitar vocal demos. So it's always a treat when you do get to hear a song in its finished product and you go, oh, I'd have never thought of that.
Yeah.
And so that's why they have artists and that's why they have producers.
Very, very much so. Well, we look forward to seeing everything kind of stripped down the way it all starts, because it all starts with that song. And Tony Arata, one of the many songwriters that'll be here for the Sandy Lee Watkins Songwriters Festival. You can go to sandyleesongfest.com for the entire list. And Tony, do you know what days that you're going to be in town for that?
I'm going to be in town on August 31st. I'm going to be there doing 2 shows on the 31st.
July the 31st, hopefully.
July the
okay.
31st, excuse me. Gosh,
I was hoping.
There won't be many people there on August 31st. You're right. Gosh, sorry, Eric.
No problem, no problem.
July 31st, and I'll be doing 2 shows there.
All right, sounds good. And the entire festival going on the 29th through August the 1st. And can't wait to see everybody there, especially Tony Arata. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us today.
Thanks to KDQ, and thank you, Eric. Look forward to seeing you soon.